The birth of the World Cup. How football's greatest tournament began. The dream of a global game. Today, billions of people stop everything to watch the FIFA World Cup. Nations celebrate, heroes are born, and history is written on the football field. But have you ever wondered how it all began? Long before packed stadiums, television broadcasts, and global superstars, football was simply a growing sport played across different countries. There was no tournament that could determine the best football nation in the world. Yet one man dreamed of changing that forever. That man's name was Jules Rimet. His vision would create the greatest sporting competition on earth. Football before the World Cup. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, football was rapidly spreading throughout Europe and South America. Countries played friendly matches against one another, but there was no organized world championship. At the time, the biggest international sporting event was the Olympic Games. Football was included in the Olympics, but only amateur players were allowed to participate. Professional footballers, the best players in the world, could not compete. Many football leaders believed the sport deserved its own independent global tournament. The question was simple: who would make it happen? The rise of FIFA. In 1904, representatives from several countries met in Paris to create an international football organization. That organization became the FIFA. Its mission was to unite football associations across the world and organize international competition. Over the next 2 decades, FIFA grew stronger as more nations joined. Then in 1921, Jules Rimet became FIFA president. He believed football could bring nations together after the devastation of war. His greatest ambition was a worldwide football championship. The idea becomes reality. Throughout the 1920s, FIFA discussed the possibility of creating a global tournament. There were many challenges. Travel was expensive. Communication between continents was slow. Some football officials doubted whether teams would be willing to travel across oceans. But Jules Rimet refused to give up. Finally, in 1928, FIFA voted to establish an international football tournament open to the world's best players. The World Cup had officially been born. Now only one question remained. Where would the first tournament be held? Why Uruguay was chosen? The honor went to the nation of Uruguay. At the time, Uruguay was one of the strongest football countries in the world. The nation had won Olympic football gold medals in 1924 and 1928. In addition, Uruguay promised to cover travel expenses for participating teams and was celebrating the 100th anniversary of its constitution. FIFA accepted the offer. The first FIFA World Cup would take place in Uruguay in 1930. The challenge of travel. Getting teams to Uruguay was far from easy. Today, players can fly across continents in hours. In 1930, teams had to travel by ship. Many European countries declined to participate because of the long journey. Eventually, only 4 European teams agreed to make the trip: France, Belgium, Romania, and Yugoslavia. The voyage across the Atlantic Ocean took several weeks. Players trained on the decks of ships while traveling toward football history. The first World Cup begins. On July 13, 1930, The first FIFA World Cup officially kicked off. 13 nations participated: Uruguay, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Bolivia, Paraguay, Peru, Mexico, United States, France, Belgium, Romania, Yugoslavia. Football's first global championship had finally arrived. Crowds filled the stadiums with excitement. No one knew they were witnessing the beginning of a tradition that would last for generations. The road to the final. As the tournament progressed, two teams emerged as favorites. One was Uruguay, the host nation. The other was Argentina, their fierce South American rival. Both teams played brilliant football and advanced through the competition. Soon the stage was set for the first World Cup final in history. The entire nation of Uruguay waited anxiously. The world watched. The first world champions. On July 30, 1930, Uruguay and Argentina met in the final. Argentina led 2-1 at halftime. But Uruguay fought back. The home crowd roared with every attack. By the final whistle, Uruguay had completed a remarkable comeback. Uruguay 4. Argentina 2. Uruguay became the first FIFA World Cup champion. The players celebrated as fireworks lit the sky. Jules Rimet finally saw his dream become reality. The World Cup trophy was presented to the victorious team. Football had found its greatest stage. A legacy that changed the world. What began with 13 teams in 1930 would grow into the world's most watched sporting event. Over the decades, legendary nations and players would write their names into history. Teams such as Brazil, Germany, Italy, and Argentina would become football giants. Icons like Pelé, Diego Maradona, Lionel Messi, and Cristiano Ronaldo would inspire millions. Yet every World Cup, no matter how modern, traces its roots back to one dream. A dream born from a belief that football could unite the world. And in 1930, that dream became reality. The end.